All right. Welcome in, Nagy Nation, to this NFC Spotlight Game of the Week. First of the season, brought to you here on Nagy on Sports. I'm Kit Nagy to bring you here this matchup between the 49ers and the AFC North Pittsburgh Steelers. You voted on it, and you have it here on the channel where we get to watch some of the new all-correct rosters for these 49ers against the Steelers. So we'll see some Kenny Pickett, we'll see some Brock Purdy, and some of the other guys that they went out to go and get in free agency and in the draft. So certainly an exciting matchup here, and one to look forward to here on the channel. Welcome in, Mitchell. Glad to have you. And very, very excited. Phil mentioned it. Very excited. We have burst the 1,000 subscriber bubble. We couldn't have done it without all of you. We've made it, and that is very exciting for us here on the channel. And wanted to send out a very big thank you to all of our subscribers for making that possible for us, as Phil is going to get us going. And we'll get this one kicked off. So the Pittsburgh will receive the opening kickoff of the ball game, and they're going to return it out to, looks like, the 24-yard line there. And that's where Kenny Pickett's going to get his start. All right, we'll appreciate you being on for the opening bits of this. Obviously, understand if you need to go when you need to go, that's fine. But thanks for joining us in the interim, as it will be just me today on the call. But certainly excited to bring this one here. A little tight bunch formation to the left, single back is Najee Harris. Pickett does toss it out to Najee. Big hole out to the left side, out to the 30, and then taken down at the 33. Nice little pitch sweep to the left there from Najee Harris, finding a gap out on the perimeter and able to get some yardage. Yes, we did. We hit 1,000. Very, very excited about that, Mitchell. We are now at 1,000 subscribers. Couldn't have done it without all of your support. And yeah, absolutely go Browns, as Najee Harris is going to carry for a first down there. Just needed one and got it. 1st and 10 out of the gun. Pickett, another handoff. Najee Harris up, kind of working through the middle there. Not much doing, only a gain of 2. Now 3 snaps and 3 Najee Harris rushes in this ballgame. Hey, George, welcome in. And thank you very much. Very excited about it. A big, big milestone here for us here at Nagy on Sports. Third and 2 here. Now under center. Kenny Pickett. A little handoff. Faked the handoff to Najee Harris. Out to the outside and misses his target. He had the step, he had the man, just overled the ball. Not a great throw from Kenny Pickett is going to result in a punt. And so the Steelers' drive, which was looking pretty good early, after some successful Najee Harris runs, comes to a stuttering halt and a punt, which ends up in the end zone, is going to bring a touchback. And so Brock Purdy is going to take over for these 49ers, who we know are very dangerous now with some of their additions on offense. Speaking of which, there's Run CMC. He's going to get the first carry of the ball game and pick up 3. Yeah, I agree. Najee wouldn't have been stopped. That was a poor choice to not just hand it off. I thought they were going to, as McCaffrey escapes a tackle backwards and ends up losing those 3 yards on that little swing pass out there. Interesting. He escaped the initial contact, but he went the wrong way doing it. 3rd and 10. Brock Purdy, 4-man rush over the middle. He's got his outlet. That's Kittle. And Kittle's going to get most of those yards back, but, that was McCaffrey. I missaw the number. But McCaffrey not able to gain the yardage he needed, so the 49ers are going to go 3 and out here. And that is going to be an early back and forth set of punts here, and some good field position set up for the Steelers. So Kenny Pickett's back out on the field. They had some early juice in that drive from Nagy, so I wonder if they'll go back to that. Well, they do. Out to the right side. He's got some space out to the 40 and to the 44-yard line. A second and inches coming after a nice pickup from Najee Harris. They have gone to that well relatively frequently. They're going to go again, and this time met in the backfield by Bosa. Ball's out! Fumbled! Wow! And they do recover it. Fortunate is Najee. The fumble met at the line by Bosa. Bosa wasn't able to bring him down. Nice little shake of the tackle, but then the ball gets poked out right at the line of scrimmage, and his lineman falls on it. So Najee Harris, very fortunate there, does pick up a first down in spite of the fireworks. Yep, Pat Peterson, Allen Robinson, Broderick Jones, all impact players, as Phil mentions. I looked away as a big throw out to the outside was complete for the Steelers for a first down. Wrong time to look away on that one. So a 1st and 10 now, threatening at the 36. Here are the Steelers. Kenny Pickett from the gun hands it off to Najee Harris. He's got a little bit of room to work with and does pick up 3 yards on that carry. And he is going to get Samna subbed here on this play, 2nd and 7. Fakes the handoff. Pressure in his face. Ball's out. And recovered by the defense. I think that's... Oh, ball's back out. Fumbled again. The fumbles are very early and often in this one, and I'm wondering if one on the fumble slider is maximum fumbles, because we have seen 3 in the early goings of this one. I'm wondering if we should turn fumbles to 99. Wow, that is crazy, the amount of fumbles we've already seen in this. As we are throwing quickly to the outside from Kenny Pickett, they do retain possession after that wild set of events. So a 2nd and 10 coming. Kenny Pickett back to pass. 4-man rush out to the outside. Oh, nearly picked off. Probably should have been picked off. That was Ward on coverage, and it probably should have gone for 6. 3rd and 10. Oh, pressure coming, and he is fortunate to get that one out of his hand. Just falls incomplete as that potent 49er pass rush is in his lap all day long and continuing to cause havoc back there for Kenny Pickett, and he is struggling in the pocket. It's been all Najee Harris for the Steelers, but they haven't been able to go to that well consistently, so as a result, when they've needed to pass, they've had trouble because of that potent pass rush of the 49ers. Now Brock Purdy, pressure coming, and he does get it outside. That is Kittle, and his tight end picks up 8. Back to pass, Brock Purdy over the middle. He hits Kittle again. And Brock Purdy now 4 of 4 for 19 yards. 1st and 10 coming. Out of the gun. Purdy thrown out to the outside. And he has it complete for a pickup of 4. Ray McLeod on the reception. I'll throw a pitch to the outside, and McCaffrey searches for some room, but not going to have a lot there. He's only going to pick up 1 yard, 3rd and 5. Purdy, and dumps it over the middle. The safe little outlet is not going to be good enough for a first down, so another 49er punt as they have struggled on offense. Obviously, Purdy has been very efficient with no incompletions yet, but they've been a lot underneath. And the 49ers have struggled to get anything going, not getting a lot of first down action as they have punted a lot so far in the early goings of this. And the Steelers are going to have yet another chance. 5:32 left in the first quarter. Still a 0-0 ball game with a whole bunch of punts, not a lot of offensive fireworks, and a whole bunch of fumbles that haven't resulted in points. Goes to the outside, does Kenny Pickett, and he's got his man. Kenny Pickett is 2 of 6, so he has struggled early in this game. Now 2nd and 4. Pickett to pass to the outside, and that looked like he was out of bounds. He was. So now 2 of 7 is Kenny Pickett as his offensive woes continue here. A 3rd and 4. He needs those yards. He does complete a pass over the middle this time. Nicely schemed up to get a man open in space. And Kenny Pickett delivers nicely on a strike over the middle. Hey, Mason, welcome in. You can see Kyle Shanahan a little upset. Defense giving that one up. Fakes the handoff to Najee Harris. Now over the middle, ball's out again. Oh, I thought he had caught it and fumbled it, but it was just a breakup. They did not rule it a catch. 2nd and 10. Najee Harris, and he is going to be met very quickly, and no gain there. So no wonder we've seen so many fumbles. As Phil says, the Madden Sliders Explained says that fumbles lowering this number will cause more fumbles, which seems counterintuitive. Not sure why they would do that way, but that would also explain why we are seeing the huge number of fumbles in this sim season. So we will go back to the drawing board on that one and look to adjust it, try to get this under control, because we are just having an absolute rush of fumbles. There's another fumble, ball's out, and the defense has it. And that is, speak of the devil, there it is, as our one setting on the slider for fumbles is proving to be just that. Very, very fumble happy here in this NFC Spotlight Game of the Week. It's the 49ers are going to take over with great field position. If they can hold on to the ball, they may have a chance to score starting at the Steeler 48. Now, handoff to Brock Purdy. He's got run CMC. Hold on to that ball. That's going to be that's going to be the fun. I guess the excitement for this game is to see which team can do a better job of holding on to the slickery ball out there, as it appears to be covered in grease today, as no one will have much chance of holding on to it successfully, as we have fumbles set very high apparently, which is very counterintuitive. And in our defense, that seems like the opposite of the way the slider should work, but you know, it is what it is. Yes, exactly, Mason. Like holding on to a greased pig. That's exactly how this game seems to be progressing so far, and it might well be won by the team that's able to better hold on to that greased pig. But at least we know exactly. Welcome in, 504. This is the Fumble Fest here, as we have a very fumble-happy teams on both sides. I think we've got 2 for each team right now, as McCaffrey is going to fight his way through a lot of traffic there, but not for any yardage, and it's going to be a 3rd and 10 coming. Yeah, very rainy. Just can't see it. That's right. And it's raining grease. It's not water. It's like oil coming out of the sky. Purdy goes deep. He's got a man down there, and that one actually hits the hand of the defender first, but incomplete. 4th and 10. The famous San Francisco fog. Nice. And a coffin corner attempted here, and it goes out at the 16. So a little better than a touchback, but not by much. Not a great punt, but certainly better than a missed long field goal, as the Steelers are going to hand it off to Najee Harris on the first effort of this drive. 2nd and 4. And with a game where the fumbles are very high, we're going to meet the end of the first quarter here with all kinds of fumbling going on. But this is a risky spot here for the Steelers, as a fumble in a spot like this gives the 49ers great opportunity. So this game's going to come down a lot to field position and trying to find your way to the middle of the field as early and as often as possible without fumbling. Because before getting it past the midfield stripe, fumbles become very, very dangerous. And give the other team a great opportunity to at least put up 3, if not scoring touchdowns. So we'll look out for that here, but it's a nice completed ball. Speaking of getting down to the midfield stripe, that one does some good work as Johnson is on the other end of that reception. Deontay Johnson with a nice reception downfield. Nice throw from Kenny Pickett just to lead him open. And Deontay Johnson with a good catch. Hey, Earl, welcome in. That's right. I did say, why don't we put it at 0 and see what happens, and that would have potentially been even worse than this. So nobody could have held on to the ball. All right, 2nd and 10 coming. Kenny Pickett out of the gun. He got a man downfield, and he hits him. Oh, ball's out! There's another fumble, and at least it's at midfield, but the defender's got the ball, and he's running with it. We'll see if they can catch him down to the 10, to the 5. And a 1st and goal as the fumble Ruski strikes. Look out. As just the body shot there for the ball to come loose. That was the dramatic fumble, as we have seen many of those. 1st and goal now for Brock Purdy. Back up, and the old shuffle sack, a Madden favorite, as we've seen so many of those in the red zone. And it's not just us. There it is for Brock Purdy and these 49ers. Just the back up red zone sack. I mean, fortunately for him, in a game like this, he didn't fumble it, and they didn't return it for, 80 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and goal. A little handoff, McCaffrey got some space to work in. Hold on to the ball, sir. And he does go down safely. 3rd and goal now from the 18. Yes, schedule release is set for tomorrow, so we should look forward to that. Very exciting. Pressure coming. Brock Purdy to the end zone and just over the heads of everybody. Looking for Deebo Samuel down there, but unable to make that catch as it was too high. And blessedly, some potential points finally in this fumble fest looks to be in order, as the 49ers are going to kick a field goal and make it. So finally a score on the scoreboard, 3-0 in a game populated mostly by fumbles. Yes, exactly. Does explain a lot of our Browns woes. I think we had it to set to 20 or something, which would make sense why we were seeing so many fumbles in the game. So maybe going to the opposite side of the 50, setting it at 70 or something would be more appropriate to what we want. Maybe even higher than that. Maybe an 80 or 90. I don't know. But something certainly that is going to reduce. I'd rather see no fumbles in a football game and be happy to watch the football than watch a fumble fest like this, where, I mean, this game is completely on tilt. Even though it's a 3-0 game, anything could happen with the way that the ball is coming out, and the fortunes of both teams could swing at a moment's notice, completely unpredictably, which at times can be fun and exciting, but it doesn't make for really good football either. So 2nd and 8 coming, 2-yard pickup. As a little screen pass out to Najee Harris, goes towards the sideline. He's going to gain 4 of those yards. 3rd and 4 coming. Hey, thanks, Earl. Appreciate that. Very excited about hitting 1,000 yesterday. It's a big milestone for us for sure. A little dump off to Najee. Doesn't pick up enough. Only a yard doing. And a 4th and 3. So the punt and fumble game is what this one is quickly becoming, as we have seen inordinate numbers of both punts and fumbles in this ball game. Hey, Karen, welcome in. Go Browns, Cavs, and Guardians. Yeah, thank you, 504. Appreciate that. couldn't have done it without all of you. It has been, you guys have been hugely loyal and supportive of the channel, and obviously it takes a community to get this done. But we're very excited to have built that first 1,000 and looking to keep going up from there as we continue to build this product out, and you guys have been great in supporting us in that. 1st and 10 now. Brock Purdy over the middle. He's got his man and a 7-yard pickup. So Mason, to answer that question, he's asking about how worried I am about the Browns' defensive line, specifically at edge and linebacker. Linebacker, it's going to depend on how the guys come back off of the injuries. If they come back healthy off the injuries and can stay healthy for this season, I'm not worried at linebacker at all. I really liked what I was seeing out of the guys that were playing in those positions prior to getting hurt. Taki really stepped up in a big way. Really like what AWOC does in that defense. You could see the difference in what the defense was doing was night and day from the time he got injured and then later into the season as Ray McLeod is going to get a first down for the 49ers. But certainly a lot of good potential in that linebacker room if they can be healthy. If they're healthy, I am not concerned at all about the depth there. Nice shot downfield as that one is going to be dragged in by Deebo Samuel with a nice catch. He just kind of laid out or just stretched out a bit to get this one. And off the back foot, look at Brock Purdy somehow able to get it down there just over the defender, Wallace, who was in good position to make a play, but just beat out by Deebo Samuel. And now a 1st and goal for these 49ers. Brock Purdy to pass. So I'll get back to the rest of that comment here in a little bit, Mason, as I've got a little bit more to say. But let's see what happens here as the 49ers are threatening here in the red zone. But, of course, the red zone offense in Madden for most teams has been rather suspect. It feels like it's a lot of sacks and difficult to get in when you get set up in these red zones unless you're right on the goal line. 2nd and goal. Now to the end zone, and he gets it right to the goal line. Ayuk, on the reception. And he's going to have it now. 3rd and goal from the 1. I formation, big set, pushing up front. He's got the touchdown as McCaffrey gets in for the 49ers, and our first touchdown of the ball game. No fumbles and a score is a great recipe for success for these 49ers in what has been a very ugly fumble and punt game. And a big strike from to Deebo Samuel setting that one up. It was absolutely beautiful downfield. Brock Purdy with an incredible pass off the back foot. And yes, Earl, I 100% agree with that statement there, that better D-tackle play and, in fact, focusing on the development of the D-tackles and bringing in the right personnel for the D-tackle room will result in better linebacker play as well. It frees them up from a lot of the blocks when you can soak that and stay in position and not move off of a spot and get blown off of a spot like we saw too often from our D-tackle room last year. So that should make for better linebacker play as well. But if they can be healthy, I think the linebacker room is pretty good shape. And yeah, you're right, Phil. That might well be enough. As to the edge, the ball's out. I think he might have been down though. Najee Harris was recovered by his lineman, but I think he might have been down. It doesn't matter. They're not going to review a 3rd and 3 coming. But as to the edge depth. It really depends on how you feel about Okoronkwo and what he's going to do on this D-line. If you view him, as the upside of that free agency pickup, in that he could be the answer they'd been looking for opposite Miles all this time. If he meets that upside, especially in the last 5 or 6 games of the season where he was really starting to do some very impressive things against really pretty good competition. I mean, he was going against good tackles and good teams that he was able to really be disruptive, get tons and tons of pressure. in those last, as he really just clicked as a starter finally, as that one is going to be well underthrown and picked, as Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to get that interception. A terrible pass, this time set up by the pressure, but I'm not sure that should have been so underthrown, as nobody was even close to where that ball ended up, and Minkah had the easiest path to that ball and is able to get that interception. But I will say though that if you think he's more of a rotational piece, kind of like the replacement to Tack McKinley, if you think that's more what he'll actually be in the defensive rotation, then yeah, I think there is a need at edge still, because you need more than that if this group is going to be successful. So it depends on really, I think it hinges on Double O, what Double O is actually able to do. If he plays to the upside, or if he plays more as a rotational piece and a speed edge guy that you can bring in certain situations that is not consistently providing the pressure. That's really the discussion at edge. Watching his tape, in particular late in the Houston season, I see what the Browns were looking at in terms of why they bet on him, to having broken out and be that guy to bookend Miles, and I'm leaning towards that's the more likely outcome, in that I think that the edge position is actually relatively set if he is that, in which case you don't need really much more at edge. You're in very good shape at edge, if that is who Double O is. If he's not, then yeah, a veteran dude to anchor the D-line at edge is probably still in order. So we'll see what they do at that position, but those are kind of my thoughts on it. Yeah, no doubt, Mason. Injuries do happen. I don't know how that will affect us either, and you certainly have to prepare for that kind of stuff as well. It's not that they don't have guys behind. I mean, obviously, you've got a rookie that you're hoping to develop. You don't want him to be the answer right out the gate. You've got some other guys that you brought in last year in Thomas and Wright that they're looking for that second-year jump from, and I think they could see some of that. I think Wright and Thomas both were starting to figure things out in the first season, and you have potential to kind of springboard into their second to be much more solid contributors on that D-line. And so I see a potential that even with injuries, that one's going to be just absolutely stolen away, and he might even score 5, 3, 2, 1 touchdown. Miles Jack with a big pick, and the Steelers have finally gotten into this ball game, getting on the scoreboard. Now bringing themselves within 3 points pending this point after touchdown, as that was just an absolute robbed route from Miles Jack. He jumped it beautifully and managed to avoid the would-be tacklers to get himself into the end zone, and the Steelers are in business. Hey, Sean, welcome in. Go Browns. I agree with Phil, though, that, there are guys like Frank Clark out there that you could, try to bolster the ranks with. But keep in mind, the roster slots for this 53 are going to be precious. It's going to be fierce competition out there. You're going to have to cut some talented players. There's only so many to go around. And where's that give in the roster? So it'll be an interesting discussion. How do you play the 53-man game? Where is your rotation and your depth going to be? You can't ever really forecast injuries, right? So it's hard. It's as a ball's going to come out again, and the Steelers are going to get the ball in great field position again to really get themselves into this ball game. 1:20 left in the half, and they've got the ball at the 18-yard line with the mega fumble game in action. If you're just joining us, we just discovered that the direction is a touchdown strike from Kenny Pickett. Hits his man in the end zone. That's George Pickens for the touchdown. And the Steelers have done it to put themselves up in this ball game now, 14-10. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. It'll be interesting. I could see a way that the front office is happy with the edge depth as is, and will go with what they have. And I see quite a bit of potential that works out exactly the way they want it to. Doesn't mean it will, but it could. And should it work out the way they envision, I think there's a big sack there. Benton gets in a flash and just buries Purdy there, and a timeout taken. It's like a bloopers clip. It's pretty bad. Yeah, I was starting to mention the fumbles. If you're just joining us, the fumbles are apparently turned just about to maximum here. For some reason they have the slider set so that the lower the number, the more the fumbles. Which, if you're turning fumbles down to a lower number, you would expect the fumbles to occur less frequently. But instead, turning it down means that it is a more frequent occurrence, as we have seen in this ballgame, as we have the fumbles currently set on the slider to 1 because we were getting so sick and tired of all the fumbles on the channel. And here we've gone and done the worst thing possible by making them even more prevalent. We've seen it a lot in this ballgame. I lost count of the number of fumbles, but there have been a lot, and some really ugly, interesting ones. We've had fumbles of all description in this ballgame, in fact. But yes, Phil is promising to fix the slider on that right away, so we should never see this again. We'll just have to chalk this one up as an interesting experience here on the channel. The punt and fumble game, or at least the first quarter, was the punt and fumble quarter. Although the fumbles have persisted, just not as much of the punts, as the offenses have finally started to hit their stride here a bit, taking advantage of some of those turnovers and getting the ball into the end zone. Yeah, I agree, Sean. I think Alex Wright probably does play quite a bit better this year. Isaiah Thomas was starting to flash a bit. I mean, I think those guys have a potential to really step in that rotation and be, productive players for the Browns. So Earl, I actually do think that you will see a marked improvement in our special teams for a number of reasons. Coaching is so important, especially to special teams, even if most of the players aren't truly going to be the same, because, that guy, Bubba Ventrone went out and got some of his guys, and made sure that yet another fumble is going to be recovered by Bosa. Najee Harris gets robbed again, as 4-4 on turnovers, and some of these fumbles have been recovered by the same team, so it's not even telling the tale here. At least it's been relatively, fair in terms of, relatively similar number of fumbles to each team. But yeah, we love Bubba Ventrone, but there's a big part of special teams that, although he's brought in some of his own players, and that will make a difference, because he brought in some headhunters. Adams is a good example of that. They have some other guys too that he wanted to bring in. So there's a reason some of those signings were made. But the other part of this discussion is really special teams. In some ways, is one of the most technique-driven aspects of football. Good technique in special teams is, it's important throughout football. It really is, but the difference between an excellent special teams unit and a good special teams unit is all technique. It's not so much about the players themselves. It can, some certain aspects of it can be, but it's more so about the techniques employed, and the coaching and then really having a feel for how to run a special teams unit, how to coach that and bring that out of your players, because you basically have to take your middle of the roster non-stars and turn them into a product that is going to have success on the field. A bunch of guys that, there are some guys you'll recognize the names of out there in the special teams unit, but there's also a bunch of dudes that you don't get to see a lot of outside of special teams that's what they do. And you have to take that part of the roster and with solid technique make up for the difference in skill that the top flights, because you're not going to risk your $20 million man or those guys out there on special teams. For the most part, they're not out there playing, so you got to take guys that aren't necessarily as talented and find a way with solid technique and good coaching to make to bridge the gap really and get the play to reflect that on the field. So is a nice pickup there for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett downfield nicely. He had 3 receivers all converging on the spot, but pick your poison, I guess, as one is able to come away with it, and that's all that he needed. So I do think, Mike Ford is another good example of that. But I do think that that guys that Bubba Ventrone brought in, that is. But Bubba Ventrone also is a player's coach. I mean, he was a former player, special teamer specifically. He knows the ins and outs of special teams. That's why he was, an ace during his entire career as the special teams ace. So he knows it. He knows the 8 first off turnovers, exactly. He knows the ins and out of it. He knows the player side of it. He's going to know how to connect. I mean, he obviously knows how to connect with the players. He did it great in Indy. It was great in New England before that. So no penalties, great tackling, consistency. Exactly. That's what special teams is all about. Is we're going to get a terrible long field goal from the Steelers, which is going to miss. Well short, of course. And now, just like a turnover, because we've had too many of those, let's have a long field goal attempt from the Steelers and give the 49ers the ball in Steeler territory, because that makes sense. We hate those here on the channel. Those, at least with fumbles, we got a ton of those. It's been ridiculous, but at least it's not something that you can literally prevent from happening by just don't call a field goal. I mean, that's a choice. You don't go out there and choose to fumble the football. I mean, that'd be a great way to find your way out of the NFL in a hurry, is to intentionally fumble the football. Nobody is out there intentionally fumbling, but obviously Madden sliders are predicating that. But as Ayuk is going to find some space and a nice catch downfield for him. But certainly you can prevent long field goals, and you should prevent those. There is a time and place for those, but they are not in the middle of the game when you're going to hand the ball to the other team with great field position when you invariably miss. So, wish we had a slider for that one for sure. Where's the stop kicking long field goal sliders? So we can turn that one all the way up or all the way down, whichever way makes no sense. Make it so they can't kick the field goal unless they're on the 35 or in. I would love to have just a set. All right, you can't even attempt a field goal unless you're on the 35-yard line. That's what I want. Maybe 37, 38, but anything much past that, you're like, why are we doing this? As that one is going to be picked, another turnover, and he's going to go 40, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, no one there. Kittle trying to catch up, but that one, Minkah Fitzpatrick with his second pick, and that one is going to go the distance with no one even there to contest, and a big pick six. Purdy just didn't even look, just He was looking the other way off of a terrible platform, kind of threw it out there hoping that his receiver was going to be where he expected him, but didn't even see Minka. Minka was right there to take it away and go the distance. Boof. Well, that I guess that does make sense, but why would you label that fumbles? Why not call that ball handling? If so, I mean, you wouldn't think that would be a hard thing to correctly label so that it makes sense. Because men, exactly. That's the reason. That's always the reason. Because men, as a flag here, I think we're going to have a hold as Ray McLeod. Oh no, they roughed the passer. I didn't see it, but they did rough the passer. That one goes against Larry O, the former Brown, and he is guilty of roughing Brock Purdy, and an easy first down for these 49ers. So they're going to throw it out to Ray McLeod. He's been very involved in this offense, as Brock Purdy is now 23 of 28. Very efficient for him. 6 receptions from Ray McLeod, 50 yards. Now a little end-around action here. And Willie Snead is going to get 6 on that carry. Yeah, no doubt. Cam Hayward. Now, although Cam Hayward, I mean, he has been such a beast for such a long time, but I think he actually is starting. I think he's starting to that regression just a little bit. We'll see how he is this season, but I don't know that he belongs in the X Factor category anymore. He's been awfully good. But we'll see how he looks in the season. I think he might have lost the edge a bit, but certainly can't discount the Larry O, Keanu Benton. And, well, of course, you never want to discount Hayward because he's just so darn good. But then with T.J. Watt out there, I mean, it is a nasty D line. They are set up to be very, very good. Najee Harris coming out of the backfield with a nice little reception. Only 10 turnovers. That's all. Yeah, I think this might be the record. I think we have managed it in this 21-13 ball game. Pittsburgh leading the way. Kenny Pickett out to the outside. And most of these points in this ball game have been courtesy of the turnovers, as you would expect. The last one, of course, Minkah Fitzpatrick taking it about 85 yards for a touchdown. And now a shuffle sack with a fumble. Ball's out, and the 49ers have it. Yet another turnover. Why not? And so the 49ers are going to take over with great field position starting on the Steelers' 47. Yeah, whatever it is, it's a massive number. Way too many. As Brock Purdy just out of the reach of Ayuk. Second and 10. I think it's fair to say this is easily the most turnovers we've ever seen in a ball game, because it's not just one team with 6 picks. It's both teams with a ridiculous number of fumbles and throw in a few picks to either side for good measure. Two of those picks going to Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah, it truly is. It's been interesting, as the Steelers were just getting dominated in this game, and then late in the first half they completely turned it around, and suddenly the Steelers are absolutely in control right now. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be balanced on the blade of a knife here as any number of fumbles could completely change the look of this game at any moment. The greased pigskin game. As a nice completion downfield, he's got Deebo Samuel out there. And a hold is going to bring it back. That one goes against Trent Williams, the former Washington tackle. Back to pass, Brock Purdy. He's got Ayuk. Fights for a few of those yards, but he's not going to get enough. And a 4th and 8 coming, and you expect them probably to kick a field goal here. And they do line up from the 35, so that'll be a 52-yard attempt. That's a little bit more reasonable. And that one is up, and it's good. So, Kenny Pickett's going to come back out on the field in a 21-16 ball game. 2:50 in the third here. Yeah, Robbie Gould's there to parrot. All right, we'll see how that works out. It'll be interesting. As a quick little tight end slant route there. Picks up 8. Now 15-35 the balance for the Steelers in terms of run and pass. 2nd and 2. Faked it to Nagy, throws it to the outside, and stretching out for it. Nice little catch, but only a pickup of 1. And that was Freiermuth with the acrobatic catch out on the sideline. Now over the middle, he's got a man, and George Pickens comes away with the first down over the middle. Now, just out of the reach of Deontay Johnson, excuse me. Well, this one is complete, and it is going to pick up 8. Deontay Johnson again on that reception. 3rd and 2. Back to pass, and out of bounds is Kenny Pickett, throwing that one away, so a punt coming from midfield. So that punt's going to go out nicely at the 9. Nice little effort there on the coffin corner. Inside the 10 is what you're looking for, and he manages that with it, putting it out of bounds at the 9. So Brock Purdy is going to take over in a dangerous spot with all these fumbles. And that really, the punting game becoming so important because it's all about the field position. With the fumbles the way they are, field position like this can very quickly turn into points. So the 49ers are going to have to find a way to avoid that. Ideally, chunk yardage downfield would be the recipe for success here. So they're going to try to set up a screen. That's not going to do it. That is not going to do it at all. And they'll go backwards on that screen attempt and mark them at the 6, 3rd and 13. But into the 4th quarter we are, and a safety, nearly a pick for a touchdown. But instead, nothing happens. And they are very fortunate to be punting out of this without any points handed to the Steelers. And actually, from the end zone, a really nice punt. Gets all the way out to the 35, but a nice little return takes it to the 48. 18-yard, or excuse me, a 13-yard return. Now emptying out the backfield for Kenny Pickett, spreading them out. 4-man rush. Pressure's coming, and he unloads well short. Incomplete. Now handed off on the little delayed. Najee Harris, ball's out! And recovered by the 49ers. So the 49ers with some good field position here as that punt, really nice punt, set them up with reasonable field position here after a quick fumble. And now a drive starting at their own 42. Hand off to McCaffrey. He's got space out to the outside to the 52. Jukes a man to the 40. Call it the 41-yard line. Nice little run there from Run CMC. Holds on to the ball most importantly, but makes a man just absolutely look silly out there. And TJ Watt finally cleans it up. McCaffrey stretched to the left side. Nothing doing this time. And he's going to go backwards too. Purdy to the outside. He's got Ray McLeod. Pick up a 5. Or, excuse me, 7. I guess he had lost 2 on the previous down, so pick up a 7. 3rd and 5 coming. And that one dumped underneath to McCaffrey. Goes for a loss. And a 4th and 7 coming. And a 55-yarder coming. So Zane Gonzalez is into the kick. Looks long enough. And it's no good. Looks like he just pulled it. So Zane Gonzalez misses the field goal. Pushed it a little right. And unfortunately is not good from 55. So the Steelers are going to take over from their own 45. As the field position game so important in this one with that overly slickery football that nobody seems to be able to hold on to. 2nd and 8. Throws it out to the outside. I think he might have been out of bounds. He was. That was Deontay Johnson on the attempt. Now a big sack and a fumble, of course, and this one is probably going to go 10-5, touchdown, and just like that, the 49ers with Colin Farrell on the recovery, and they've got a 2-point conversion and the lead. Here comes the 2-point conversion attempt. Back to pass, over the middle, he's got it. 2-point conversion is good, so a 24-21 ball game, 10:57 to go in it. And just like that, the momentum is all in San Francisco's favor in this Fumblerooski game. As we have seen an absolute back and forth swing city here in this game. As nobody can hold on to the ball. And so the swings are just wild in this one. As there is no chance to hold on to any real momentum in this game when you can't even hold on to the ball. Kenny Pickett back out. Pass to the outside, and that one is knocked out of his hands. A 2nd and 10. Yeah, clearly a normal 24-21 ball game. Never mind how we got here. If you saw the score line of this, you would think it was just a ho-hum, whatever, normal Sunday game. It's until you start to look into the box score and see the absurd number of turnovers in this one that you'd start to raise an eyebrow and go, what the heck actually happened? As we have seen an awful lot of punting, an awful lot of fumbles, quite a few interceptions, and a lot of defensive scoring going on in this one. As the offense have had woeful days. But when you can't hold on to the ball, that's going to make offense very difficult. Pressure coming. Brock Purdy does get rid of it, and that one should have been picked. It should have gone the other way. It should have been another defensive score, but I think he might have been thinking about his touchdown celebration too soon. 2nd and 10. That one just missing Deebo Samuel. And a 3rd and 10. Pressure coming. He unloads, attempting to hit Deebo Samuel, but Deebo Samuel can't reel that one in. And so the punter is back out on the field. Hey, gamers, welcome in. As a great punt just trickles into the end zone there. Very much appreciate that. Appreciate that, gamers. Very much appreciate having you here. And we just made it to 1,000 subscribers, so we're very, very pumped about that. We hit that big milestone yesterday. This is certainly not the game that we wanted to see after finally hitting 1,000, but we know how to fix it now. So we'll go back in and make the adjustments we need to stop the bleeding when it comes to the fumbles, because it has been incredible in this game, as nobody can hold on to the heavily oiled pigskin. Speaking of, Bosa couldn't even hold on to it to recover the fumble. So the Steelers, it ends up just being a sack with a fumble that goes backwards quite a ways as the Steelers recover it. But Bosa, look at him scrambling for it. He can't even hold on to it on the ground. It's wild. Oh man, Bosa was right on top of it. He kicks it out from underneath himself and then can't corral it because it's too slippery. The football in this game has been covered in grease unexpectedly. I'm not sure how the equipment folks on the field were let that happen, but here we are with the least friction ever on a football. The Butterfinger Bowl. I like it. Yes. It's Fumble Risky football here in the Butterfinger Bowl. Yes, we did hit 1,000, Sean. So excited about it. Just hit it yesterday. As a nice little shake off the tackle there from McCaffrey. Fight through it in. Of course, he fumbles and it goes out of bounds. Very fortunate the sideliner there was there to recover for him. But McCaffrey with a really nice effort until the very end when, of course, he drops the ball. And then another carry here. This one for Mitchell, but he's going to go backwards. We would love that. That would be really cool if we had some kind of deal to call real games with. I'd love that. That would be so much fun. But and I'm sure Phil would love it too, as that's one of his secret dreams, and that's why this channel even came to be. But yeah, we do. We have a good time, and we appreciate that, gamers. We enjoy doing this a lot. We enjoy all of you being here with us live. It's always entertaining and fun for us, and hope the same is true for all of you. As a field goal attempt coming from the 49ers to extend their lead here, and they do. So they're now up 6 in this fumble and punt fest, as we have seen defensive scores, incredible numbers of turnovers, lots and lots of punts. I think we've got 2 offensive scores, 2 offensive touchdowns in this ball game. I think we got 2. The rest is all defensive scoring and field goals, with a whole bunch of punts. Appreciate that, Sean. Glad you came back, or continue to come back. But yeah, no, I think the biggest thing with it is at least as far as I've seen, I don't think anybody else out there is calling their own games. So otherwise, you're watching Madden, having to listen to the Madden broadcast. And anybody who's played Madden before or watched Madden Sims before knows, although those two, their broadcast crew is, hugely talented. They're very good. there's only so much as yet another fumble recovered by the 49ers. Why not? As their momentum is solidly in their corner. But those two are very good, but there's only, so much time before you're going to start repeating phrases and hearing the same calls over and over again, or misapplied calls that don't make sense to the play. You hear it enough times and it gets old. And that's one of the things that we can bring here on the channel that they just can't, by virtue of the fact that they're driven by algorithms. And there's only so many recorded statements that they, had the time and willingness to put down on tape, kind of a thing. So we actually get to live react to what's really going on in the game, and gives it an element that you're just not going to find with a Madden broadcast team. No offense to them, because they're both very talented, just they're not doing it live. Back to pass. And that one is knocked away. Nice little defensive play. Brock Purdy staring down a 3rd and 10 here from the 18, as the red zone has been very difficult for everyone involved, trying to set up a screen, but he does somehow catch it and gets caught up on his blocker. I thought for a minute McCaffrey was going to get away, somehow avoided the first tackler, and then makes the mistake of running right into the back of his blocker and goes down. That had the potential to somehow, I thought, of course, screen games have been so bad in Madden anyway that, almost discounted it right at the start, but then McCaffrey started to make something happen, and if he had not run into his blocker, he probably gets the first down, if not a touchdown there. Of course you did. I love it. Mrs. Nagy on Sports saying after told that we had hit 1,000 and wondering where her check was. I love it. Or the something nice at least, right? We've been talking about that something nice for Mrs. Nagy on Sports for a long time. But very excited to have hit 1,000. Couldn't have done it without all of you. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to the channel, we'd still love to have the subscription. No longer pushing for 1,000, but hey, we'll take anyone who wants to join, as we are very excited to bring this content to you and have really enjoyed doing it. Of course, we also have a Discord channel. You can vote on games like this. This is the NFC Spotlight Game of the Week here, as voted on you, the fans of the channel, on our Discord. We also have the opportunity to get notified when these broadcasts will come in advance, vote on other things. We've got highlight clips in there, a bunch of other stuff there for you on the Discord. It's free to join. Just make an account and check out the link in the description of this video or any of our other videos, and we'd love to have you there as well, as we talk all things Browns and NFL in between the games. And you can talk directly to Phil and I, as we're on there constantly, chatting with folks about the news of the day and anything else that happens to happen in the NFL world. 3rd and inches is what a catch there. George Pickens goes up and makes an incredible catch. And the Steelers are not quite dead yet, 1:17, but they've got a lot of work to do. But a great catch from George Pickens, just skying the ball, I guess he's really just parallel to the ground, as he was about 6 foot off of it, making it just a circus catch. 3rd and 10. And yes, if you are on the Discord, I would like to throw in your votes for the AFC. We currently have a tie. It is tied between the Buccaneers and Texans game, and then the Cowboys-Bills game. Those are the two that are currently tied right now for the AFC Spotlight Game of the Week. And if you have a preference for whether you'd like to see Cowboys-Bills for that matchup, as the onside kick is coming. And I don't know who got that. They did recover it. The Steelers have it with a chance. 46 seconds left, and we might have an interesting end to this ball game, as it has been absolutely wild. Let's see what happens here. Kenny Pickett over the middle. That one goes to nobody. 42 ticks left from the 47. They've got to get 6 points. And a touchdown with the extra point will win this. But They got some work to do. Missing again is Kenny Pickett, 3rd and 10. Crunch time coming. They've got 39 ticks left. At least he's been incomplete to stop the clock. They do have 2 timeouts left to their name, but they've got some work to do. Kenny Pickett airs it deep. He's got a man out there. He's caught out to the sideline. Does he go out of bounds? He does. Clock stops. 33 seconds left on the 12. Potential for a huge upset swing in the end of this game. Not caused by a fumble. In fact, caused by an onside kick. What an incredible potential finish. Let's see what happens. 29 seconds left. That one goes out in the back of the end zone. And at least we get a fun finish to this, even though it's been a wild, crazy, insane fumble game. Kenny Pickett to the end zone. Had a man, but just too deep for anybody. He's going to have 2 more chances at this. 25 ticks left. He can technically get a first down, but he's got to go to the end zone with only 22 seconds left. He goes to that side. That sideline is okay. 4th and 7. 21 seconds left. They do get out of bounds. They still have 2 timeouts. Field goal will do nothing for you here. You have to have either a first down or the touchdown right now. Kenny Pickett to the end zone. He's got a man and can't come up with it. No good. The touchdown does not succeed. The 49ers get the ball back and somehow survive the late push from the Steelers to try to win this ball game, but the 49ers are going to come away with an incredible victory in the Fumbarooski Bowl, the Butterfinger Bowl, if you will, as nobody could hang on to the football, but the 49ers are going to get the win. Now, what a crazy finish to this ball game is they're going to run McCaffrey up the middle. Another timeout taken for reasons unknown. Although with a Fumbarooski game like this, I don't know why you're running the ball, but they've got timeouts, so that makes sense to take them because they're just trying to pop the ball out, which we've seen so much of, because any score here could also end the game with a Steelers win somehow. Now McCaffrey carrying it with 2 hands over the ball as he should. No fumbles, but this one mercifully is going to come to an end, and the clock stops at 000. And the Steelers go down to the 49ers in what was the game that had the most turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, defensive scoring that we've ever seen on the channel, and hopefully we'll never see again. Here's Brock Purdy's day, 32 of 46, 227, 69% completion, 3 interceptions for him today. Not a good showing from him. Somehow coming out with a win in spite of it. Now, McCaffrey, he was 25 for 67, 1 touchdown for him. McCaffrey, 11 catches, 16 yards. McLeod second with 79 catches. So good effort from them. All kinds of fumbles all over the field. Ward had 11 tackles, and then Greenlaw with 11 as well. 4 sacks for Nick Bosa, 1 for Winters. And then, actually, they didn't. It was only interceptions for the. And then look at all those forced fumbles: 4 for Bosa, 2 for Gibson, 2 for Warner. So, 12 fumbles for the forced by the 49ers. Yikes! That's just one team forcing 12 fumbles. That's just wild. Kenny Pickett's day, 33 of 60, 319, 55, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So I guess only Purdy had the 3 interceptions. I thought Pickett had 1, but he only had the fumbles. No interceptions for his day. Najee Harris, 20 attempts, 61 yards. He had 5, count them, 5 fumbles, along with Kenny Pickett with 5 fumbles. So there's a look at how that one went. 10 total fumbles between the rushers there. You got Deontay Johnson with 8 for 100, 8 for 37 for Najee Harris. And then Miles Jack leading the way with 19 tackles. Of course, he had that interception, pick 6. And then look at all the others. 2 sacks for Benton, 1 for Ogunjobi, 1 for Watt on the day. 2 interceptions for Minkah Fitzpatrick, 1 interception for Miles Jack, 2 of those going for defensive scores. And then, of course, the forced fumbles, 4 of them here, 5 of them there, 4 of them, Ogunjobi, Fitzpatrick, Washington, and Watt. So there you have it. that's the end of our NFC Spotlight game, which we will gratefully put into the archive and hopefully not have anything like that ever happen again, even though the finish was entertaining, as we saw that onside nearly result in a Steeler comeback victory somehow out of that, which was just wild to see. There's a look at the rest of the week one and what's coming up. Of course, we already saw the Browns Titans game finish with that ugly defeat to the Titans in the 31-22 final there. But we'll have the other Spotlight game of the week for the AFC coming up here on the channel. If you haven't had a chance to vote on that, please do so on the Discord, as we are currently in a tie between the Cowboys-Bills game that you see there at the top, and then also the other one on that has is tied for a score or for votes is the Tampa Bay-Houston game. So if you prefer one or the other of those two games, please go vote for that on the channel, and we'll bring that to you here in short order. But we appreciate having you on. Love bringing these to you in spite of all the fumbles and everything else in this crazy one. But we'll get out of here saying go 49ers. And as always, go Browns!